Okay, so today I'm doing my first book haul because I've been receiving so many books this week and I've tried to add them to my weekly reading vlog as little snippets here or there, but today's haul kind of took the cake and it needs its own video. It's important for you to know that I did not purchase any of these books. I got them all from my library, but there's only one or two that I actually requested from my library. So the basic deal that my library has now owing to COVID-19 is that if you sign up, then every fortnight they will send you a book. A book. That was the deal. Instead, my library keeps sending me many books and I want to show them all to you. But let's start off with the books that I actually reserved from my library. So the first book that I reserved has received a ton of attention on BookTube and it also sounds amazing. There are some books that receive a ton of attention and they just don't interest me at all, but this one sounds really, really good. It is The Starless Sea and it's glossy and I can't do anything about it, so I'm really sorry. There we go. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So I am still trying to keep the glare away. Really excited about this book because it just sounds really amazing. So I'm just going to give you a quick premise of what this book is about by reading the first paragraph of the description. Excuse me. Far beneath the surface of the earth, upon the shores of the Starless Sea, there is a labyrinth collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. The entryways that lead to this sanctuary are often hidden, sometimes on forest floors, sometimes in private homes, sometimes in plain sight. But those who seek will find. The doors have been waiting for them. That's where I'm going to leave the description, but I am very, very much intrigued by this book. I'm very happy that I've now received it. The second book that I received from my library is the only other book that I actually reserved, and it is P.S. I Like You by Casey West. Okay, so let's give another shout out to Murphy from BookTube channel Murphy Napier, because it's not like I haven't given her enough shout outs before. I mean, anyway, Murphy has been talking about Casey West for a very long time, and Casey writes a lot of contemporary books and apparently they're just amazing, so I can't wait to give this book a go and see what I think. Thank you, Murphy. So the rest of these books I did not put on reserve, but there are quite a few, so let's try and get through them as quickly as possible. The first one is this one, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. This is really, really, like, the angels have spoken, because as you guys would know if you've seen all of my videos, I read Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, the first book in the Percy Jackson series, a couple of months ago. This is book number 2, so I mean, I did not intend to continue on with my read of the Percy Jackson series at all, because while I gave book 1 3 stars, I just didn't think it was the right book for me. I read The Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero first, before the Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and I preferred that one. But my library has sent me this one without even knowing that I read the first one, so the angels have spoken, and I'm guessing I'm going to put this onto a TBR at some point. Another book that intrigued me was this one, The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. Oh, by the way, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief is by Rick Riordan. It's a middle grade fantasy. The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. This looks like an LGBTIQ plus book, which really does intrigue me because I want to read more LGBTIQ plus books on this channel. So let's take a look at the blurb. When Cal's dad is selected for NASA's mission to Mars, Cal feels like his future is falling apart. How can he become a serious journalist when his own family is part of the hottest story around? And how long can his parents pretend to be picture perfect when all they do is fight? Only Leon understands. He's an Astro Kid too. Before Cal knows it, falling apart becomes falling head over heels, and I'm not going to read any more because it sounds amazing. It's definitely LGBTIQ plus by the sound of it, so I'm going to call this a contemporary. Phil Stamper. I think this book will end up on my TBR. The next book is this one. Half My Facebook Friends Are Ferrets. This looks like a middle grade book. Yep, definitely. I just looked at the pages and the way the writing is set out. It definitely confirms it's a middle grade. So let's read the back, and the back confirms it's middle grade too. So it says, things to do before I turn 16. Kiss a female who is not a relative, very old, very young, or covered in fur. I like that. Number 2, Master 1 by the legendary Metallica. 3, see Children of Bodom or Bodom live. 4, own the Randy Rhoads Flying V Jackson guitar with Blue Ghost Flames. 5, get something pierced or tattooed. 6, be half as cool as people say my dad was. Josh Walker, aka Josh the Destroyer, has rock and roll dreams, but his mum won't even let him grow his hair long. Oh no! See, if I was your father, I would definitely let you grow your hair long, because, I mean, I can't say anything. My hair's very long, so... his best friends are either geeks or nerds. They haven't decided yet, and he's had precisely 0 Valentine's Day cards in his life. Will he ever live up to the cool, tough dad he's never known? Aw, sounds pretty cool. I'm actually intrigued by that. So thank you, library. The next book is Nobody Real by Stephen Camden. And there's a tagline down the bottom. He's just brilliant. Kate Tempest. So thank you for that, Kate. It says, she's real, he's not. Together, they're everything. So, Marcy is real with real problems. For years she's been hitching a ride on the train of her best friend Kara's life. Now there's only one more summer until they're off to uni together. So uni is short for university, which if you're in America, it's like saying college. Just like they planned. But Marcy has a secret and time is running out for her to decide what she really wants. Years ago, Thor was also Marcy's friend before she cast him out back to his own world. Ooh. Time is running out for him too. If he doesn't make a decision soon, he's going to face the Fade. But Thor is not real, and that's the problem. So it's a YA. I'm guessing it might be a fantasy. Ooh. I love my YA fantasy. So again, thank you, library. Alright, this next one I don't think I am going to read, but when the library puts all these books into a box, I've like literally got a box here, which you can't see. So, yeah, I literally have a box there. Then there's going to be some books in there that just don't interest you, and I should have probably said that these books don't interest me, but it is Light Years by Cass Morgan. Just by looking at the cover, I know that this won't interest me. So whilst I don't mind sci-fis, I'm not a fan of like Star Wars or Stargate or any kind of space setting that's set on a ship in space. I'm just not a fan of any of that stuff, so I'm not even going to read the description, but if this intrigues you, there you go. Alright, next one. The Forgotten Pearl by Belinda Murrell. Okay. In 1941, Poppy lives in Darwin, a peaceful paradise far from the war. In 1941, is this historical fiction? I'm currently reading The Book Thief, and I'm not enjoying it, and that's my first historical fiction, so we'll see. But when Japan attacks Pearl Harbor and then Australia... Oh, yes, it's historical fiction with war themes. It's just not my cup of tea. Everything Poppy holds dear is threatened. Her family, her neighbours, her friends, and her beloved pets. Her brother Edward is captured by the enemy. Her hometown becomes a war zone as the Japanese raid over and over again. Terrified for their lives, Poppy and her mother flee to Sydney, only to find that the danger follows them there. Poppy must face her war with courage and determination. Will her world ever be the same again? So it definitely sounds like a YA historical fiction, and if that intrigues you, go ahead and pick that up. But it's probably, I'll be honest, not a book that I'm going to read. It didn't look like a historical fiction, but I can now see the planes in the background, which I didn't see to begin with. I just saw her face and thought it was like a YA contemporary. But anyway, we'll put that down. Okay, if that interests you, certainly pick it up. It's just not my kind of thing. We then have Terry Pratchett, The Witch's Vacuum Cleaner and Other Stories. So this certainly, by saying and other stories, sounds like a compendium, and Witch's Vacuum Cleaner sounds like a YA fantasy compendium, which if that's the case, I'm intrigued. Is there a blurb? The Witch's Vacuum Cleaner and Other Stories is the second fabulously funny short story collection from the late acclaimed storyteller Terry Pratchett, a follow-up to Dragons at Grumbling Castle. The second batch of storytelling gems features stories written when Sir Terry was just 17 years old and working as a janitor reporter. That's pretty cool. In these pages, new Pratchett fans will find wonder, mayhem, sorcery, and delight, and loyal readers will recognise the seeds of ideas that went on to influence his most beloved tales later in life. As Neil Gaiman says, I'm currently reading my first Neil Gaiman, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and I'm loving it, so let's see what Neil Gaiman has to say. A Terry Pratchett book is a small miracle. And then it goes on to say, and The Witch's Vacuum Cleaner proves to be another such miracle, taking its place alongside Pratchett's astounding, cherished body of work. It sounds good. It sounds really good. I read a horror compendium recently, so to read a fantasy compendium sounds good. So we have The Witch's Cleaner, The Great Train Robbery, The Truly Terrible Toothache, The Frozen Feud, Darby and the Submarine, The Sheep Rodeo Scandal, An Ant Called 4179-003, The Fire Opal, Lord Cake and the Battle for Benwen's Beacon, The Time-Travelling Television, The Blackberry Park Statues, Wizard War, The Extraordinary Adventures of Doggins, and Rincemangle, the Gnome of Evermore. So, sounds really good. And the first line, because I just saw it, the first line of the introduction is, do you believe in magic? So, this sounds like a book that I would want to read. Thank you, library. Okay, then we have this book. Novice Dragonia, the first Dragonia Academy novel, which is so funny because I just finished reading the Vampire Academy novel that had a character called Lissa Dragomir, so this is the Dragonia Academy. I'm not really a fan of dragon books. I've tried a couple and they just really don't do it for me. I know there are a ton of Eragon fans out there and I don't mean any disrespect at all. I picked up Eragon thanks to a recommendation from another booktuber that I love, Troy Reads, and I definitely recommend that you check him out. He's amazing. But E.E. Knight, I just don't know. Let's read the back. 14-year-old Illith, I think, grew up in an orphanage and thanks to her stutter was never destined for much beyond kitchen work and cleaning. Well, that has me intrigued because writing a book about someone who has an impairment is, and hopefully they overcome obstacles with that impairment, is something that does intrigue me. But she's dreamed of serving with the dragons ever since a childhood meeting with a glittering silver dragon and its woman Dragonia. For years, she waits. And as soon as she's old enough to join, Illith runs away to become a Novice Dragonia at the ancient human dragon fortress of the Serpentine. While most of her fellow apprentices are from rich families, Illith must fight for her place in the world, even if it includes a duel with her boss at the fish-gutting table. Okay. Her path will lead her places she's never imagined, whether it's joining the dragon dances or taking charge of a sickly old dragon with a mysterious past, and to new heights as she takes her first flight into enemy lands. Yeah, okay, so I don't know if that's enough to intrigue me or not. If there is a magic system incorporated into the book, then it definitely would intrigue me. So if you've read this and there is a magic system in this book, then do let me know in the comments below. Don't tell me what it is, just confirm that there is one, and that would intrigue me. But just a book about dragons would not intrigue me. As I said, I read Eragon. Eragon had a magic system, but to me, the magic system wasn't that well fleshed out. And the story about the dragon, I liked how Eragon and Saphira, the dragon, communicated with each other, but I really just didn't enjoy the book as a whole. So yeah, if you really think I should read this book, let me know, and definitely let me know if there's a magic system in this book if you've read it. finally, oh no, not finally, sorry. We then have a book that my sister loves, so a big shout out to my beautiful sister. I know she loves this book. I had to read this book in high school, but unlike my sister, I personally don't like this book, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. It is John Marsden's Tomorrow When the War Began. This is a very different cover to the one my sister has and the one I had growing up. So from what I remember about this book, I think it's a YA. Yes, it is. It's a YA post-apocalyptic setting. So we've entered into the apocalypse and these children are basically fighting for their lives. We don't know where their parents are. And yeah, it's very big in Australia, but it's post-apocalyptic books are just not my sort of scene. So yeah, if my sister didn't own a copy, I would try and find a way to send this to her so she could read it. But anyway, I think she owns at least one copy, but anyway, not the kind of book for me, but if post-apocalyptic books are something that intrigue you, then Tomorrow When the War Began will not disappoint you. It is well written. It is a good story. It's just not a story that entertains me. The final two books that I did receive, I believe, are manga, but I can't really tell. So can someone please let me know in the comment section below if these actually are manga? So we have this book, which is The Devil is a Part-Timer, which the title does intrigue me. But there's no graphic, what do you call it, like pictures in here. It reads like a novel, and the book is facing the right way, where it doesn't manga normally face the other way. So I don't know if it's manga or not, but if you know that this is manga, do let me know. The title intrigues me. Let's read the description on the back. It says, "Do you want fries with your hellfire?" I like that. That's a good start. Being soundly thrashed by the hero Amelia, the Devil King and his general beat a hasty retreat to a parallel universe, only to land smack in the middle of bustling modern-day Tokyo. Lacking the magic necessary to return home, the two are forced to assume human identities and live average human lives until they can find a better solution. And to make ends meet, Satan finds gainful employment at a nearby fast food joint. This just sounds good. With his devilish mindset on working his way up the management food chain, what will become of his thirst for conquest? It does sound intriguing, I will admit. Manga's never really been something that's interested me, but the premise of this story does sound really good. So let me know if it's manga, I'll give it a go. I also have book 2. They sent me that one. The Devil is a Part-Timer. Oh, so they're called the same thing. There we go. But yeah, so the first one I showed you was book 1. Oh, sorry. Book 1, and the second one is book 2. So yeah, if I do read book 1 and love it, I can go on to book 2. We'll see how we go. Do you recommend these? Let me know. Do they have a magic system in there? Let me know. All that kind of stuff. Alright, let's place these back into the box. So, let me know about these. If you like post-apocalyptic, definitely pick up James Marsden's Tomorrow When the War Began, or anything James Marsden. He's a good writer, he just doesn't entertain me. Let me know, oh sorry, didn't mean to hit the camera there. Let me know if there's a magic system in this book, Novice Dragonia. If there is, I might be intrigued. We'll see. The Forgotten Pearl, the YA historical fiction or adult, I can't tell, but it sounds more YA. I don't know, but I really it just doesn't interest me. But if that interests you, there it is. Okay. This book that I won't even read the description for, there it is. If that intrigues you at all, Light Years by Cass Morgan. Terry Pratchett's The Witch's Vacuum Cleaner, which really does intrigue me, so you might see that on a future TBR. We'll see how we go. Nobody Real by Steve Camden. This intrigues me as well, so you might see that on my TBR. We'll see. Half My Facebook Friends Are Ferrets by J.A. Buckle. So there, if you want to see the author's name. This intrigues me. I feel like this is a middle grade, but I like middle grade. Yeah, there was one middle grade that I gave 1 star to this year, but aside from that, disaster. I don't mind middle grade at all. The Gravity of Us is definitely a book that I think I will put on my September TBR, because we're in August. My September TBR, because it looks like it's an LGBTIQ plus book. I'm so starry-eyed for this wise romantic gem of a book. Becky Albertalli. Romantic book. Well, YA LGBTIQ plus romance, that's what it sounds like to me. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Percy Jackson. I said I was done. The Angels decided I needed to read book 2, so you'll probably see this on my TBR too. And the 2 books that I reserved from my library, finally finally I'm holding... that would be interesting. Finally, I'm holding a Casey West. If I like this book, then I will read more Casey West, but I will also try and purchase my own copy of this book, so we'll see how we go. This is a YA contemporary. I'm not going to read the blurb because I don't want to spoil it for myself, so that's why I didn't read the blurb for this one. I want to go in blind. And of course, The Starless Sea, which is a chunker. How many pages are you? No way. It looks like it's 482 pages. Are you serious? Like, it's one of those that's just 18 pages away from being a tome. It might as well be a tome. It's extremely heavy to hold. It's heavier than Igniting the Phoenix, and that's saying something. But anyway, those are the books that I have here for this book library book haul. What do you think of them? Have you read any of them? If you have, please don't spoil them for me or anyone else who has not read them. But let me know in the comments section below what you thought of them, if you thought they were good books or not. And yeah, which ones you would recommend for me to put on my TBR. But until then, letting you guys go with peace, blessings, and so much love. I hope you enjoyed my first book haul, even though it's a library book haul, and let me know if you would like to see more. I'll speak to you guys again soon. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'm letting you guys go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Mwah. Happy reading. Bye, guys. Bye.